So, Fnatic are our first team through to the semi-final of ESL 1 Spring Cup for Battlefield 4. We're about to find out which team doesn't quite join them yet, but certainly has another shot. There are two teams running at the bottom of the bracket, and obviously the other team waiting down there are Planet Key Dynamics, who will play the winner of our next game. Dogbert's back with me. What do you make of the Fnatic dominance so far? Because it has been very dominant. I mean, the first map, 124 tickets, biggest victory we've seen on LAN at any of the ESL 1 so far.
Yeah, worrying, if anything. That's the team you got to be afraid of.
And against the team who'd just beaten Epsilon.
Yeah, and like I said, if there was one chance they were going to have against Fnatic, it was going to be after a big win like that. And they just really bad start. They just collapsed completely, and Fnatic were just on top of them and never let them get back into that game.
Yeah, were you surprised at all by the way that they started that game in terms of, I mean, you know, Drunk said it's a pretty normal strategy for European teams to do what they did, but Fnatic read it. They read everything in that game.
They got the kills, and they were very far forward, and they were able to basically pin Planet Key down, and when you've got players like that, you can come in and get all the kills and really just cause that much of a nuisance up front. It's very difficult to answer it, and Planet Key didn't have an answer for that at all.
All right, let's move on to our next game. It's an interesting match, this one. Not the one we thought we would get, actually. No. We kind of expected Planet Key to be down here, but the Planet Chicken dynamics have continued through and done okay. The chicken's not quite dead, it's still squeaking, and they will now play the winners of this next matchup. This next matchup is do or die for both teams, but in particular for Epsilon, the pressure must be enormous on them right now.
Yeah, a team everyone expected would do amazingly well, and I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but Epsilon are one of those teams, if they get hit really hard, they do break. They're pretty brittle. Their morale just isn't there when it goes against them, and InFamouS have a chance here. But if Epsilon play the way they should, this should be an easy game for them. Do
you honestly believe that? I mean, we said earlier on, to quote Katy Perry, the dark horse of the tournament. That's in Lauren's words, but she backfired on that a little bit because she said, you know, well, with two stand-ins, they're not quite the same team. We saw them fall apart, to be frank, against Fnatic. Are they not just going to roll over and do the same thing again?
Well, it's a different team they're playing completely. Fnatic have already just made short work of every team they come up against now. So really judging them on their past performance, maybe it's unfair because Fnatic is so good right now. But, you know, both of these teams got crushed in their previous games. But it's all about who can recover from that quickest.
We've talked about wounded animals in respect of Fnatic, and, you know, they are wounded animals from last season. They've now come back and obviously done two fantastic matches to make sure they go through to the semi-finals. Job done for today. They can have a rest now, come back tomorrow fresh. Epsilon, though, are also now a wounded animal. Are they going to fight back in the same way? I mean, you said they were brittle, but they have some fight in them too.
They've got the players, they've got the skill, they've got a lot of experience. But what they don't seem to have is the cohesion. When it goes wrong, they do just seem to collapse. And it's a horrible thing to say for a team that's actually that good. They just need to keep their head in the game and play.
Well, there's plenty of you out there that are voting by your droves to get your hands on some Razor gear here. Of course, Battlefield 4 Razor gear. This man standing next to me knows a thing or two about Battlefield over the years, and he's now going to help you with your decision as to which team to vote for. Where's your vote going? Is it Epsilon?
I was actually talking with the Dig guys back in there, and there's a 50-50 split. But I'm going to come down and say Epsilon. I think it may be 2-1, but I think they'll probably win this one.
Okay, make sure you get your vote in on ESL-1.com. Click on the Battlefield 4, go to the schedule and vote on this next match. And if you want to vote with Dogbert, put your votes on Epsilon. We'll find out whether they do come back from the brink to claim another place in the last shot, the last chance saloon to play the revenge match against Planet Key Dynamics for the last place out of Group A tomorrow. But for now, let's find out who advances from the lower bracket in Group A.
Thank you for that, Red Eye and Dogbert. And this game, InFamouS Epsilon. I mean, I saw Epsilon, you know, during the break. They were a little bit disappointed. I talked to them as well, and, you know, they were still obviously, you know, some
You're a little sore.
They were a little bit sore about it, but, you know, hopefully this time we won't see what they did last time in the season. They remember they kind of just
fizzled
the game.
away.
Yeah, they kind of just left the game because they were unhappy with how the ruling was. But this time, got to keep their minds in it. We've already seen that when they're, you know, kind of, well, that's what Dogbert said, you know, they kind of shatter if you hit them hard enough. And all right, now they're probably just hoping to stay alive here. And in terms of maps, do you have any kind of idea of what we might see here?
Well, we're going to hopefully see something similar.
if Epsilon want a chance, they should get rid of, you know, your railways, your storms, your lockers. That's what they'll want to get rid of there. Right now, we've seen Railway, Locker, now Dam taken away. I think Epsilon's last choice should be Storm. They've taken out Shanghai. Now, if Storm comes up, I feel that's an infamous map here. Zavod being picked up first by InFamouS. Storm second. This is dangerous. I'm not sure if I really like those choices, in complete honesty. I think that gives a little gateway for InFamouS to get themselves back in here. We'll see how this goes. This is dangerous, dangerous territory.
Yeah, and well, obviously, you know, Epsilon, they didn't look great. InFamouS, though, that's the thing to me. You know, you had him pitted as a real potential, you know, Katy Perry right now, and you know, I agreed with you because they had the potential. We knew they were practicing like crazy, but it turns out they are practicing like crazy because they brought in 2 new people. Yeah, they were trying to get that synergy down, and you know, I was saying before, I was talking to right on the desk. You know, Fnatic, they played really well. It wasn't like InFamouS was playing bad, but Fnatic was just playing fantastic. And right now, I mean, InFamouS, I wonder if they'll have what it takes to beat Epsilon, because they're 2 huge teams to go up against for them.
Most certainly. I feel that if you're going to be the underdog and do the thing, you've got to lose in the first one, then turn it around after that. Because then people underestimate you. I don't think Epsilon will. However, I think they know what happened previously and it was a bit of a problem. So I think they'll be focused in this. But I think this does give a good chance for InFamouS to do something. The maps aren't bad for them. They're in a good position. Zavod, fast rotates available. You can see there's a little love for Battlefield still in there. They're still feeling good in this. But I think Zavod is a pretty even map for these two. Epsilon used to have some really defining strategies on there, but I think that's a good, solid map. Storm, though, I personally think InFamouS can be great on it. We didn't necessarily see that fully coming into effect at times, but if they put the right work into the right places, there could be something there. But we need to see a little bit more from them. The first game of the day just didn't go well. But then again, let's take it into perspective. Fnatic have looked absolutely insane so far, like beyond what I almost expected at times. So, okay, both teams have kind of lost to something similar to that in a way. You know, Fnatic have just trashed the team that pretty much beat Epsilon. So you look at it ipso facto, it kind of makes sense that these two should be even. It's down to who can play better against each other. InFamouS have a very defining style. Epsilon know that, but can they do anything to beat it? It's all up in the air. And Zavod,
I'm worried about that map actually for InFamouS, and they chose it.
Which is weird. They've been choosing maps that I don't feel are necessarily their biggest strengths at times. But, you know, then again, there's some strange choices coming out before for even PKD up against Epsilon, but, you know, it paid off in the end for them. But I'm wanting to see what they can bring here. I'm wanting to see what these guys can do, because I think everyone's kind of thought, oh, well, InFamouS, they suffered what we expected could happen. They have 2 new players. It's gone downhill. And it's very easy to go, well, write them off then. I think there's still something they could do to bring out a surprise.
I want to hope that they were watching the game, obviously, when Planet Key Dynamics played against Epsilon on Zavod. Because one thing Planet Key Dynamics did so well, that Dobber and I were talking about, was eliminating Horik out of the equation. By, you know, it was sending Jared to kill him over and over again. And the thing was, he never got going with his style of really being, you know, aggressive, really getting behind the, you know, the teams and going for those back caps. And, you know, what we saw when Epsilon can't play the game that they want, with, you know, Horik being that rotator, then they seem to kind of crumble. And I wonder if that's what InFamouS is looking for here, because they chose this map. They know what they're getting into, and maybe they found that, you know, kind of crack in the shell of Epsilon on this map.
Let's hope so, because you're going to need something. There's a reason that Epsilon finished top of the season, pretty much, in the online cups, let's say. They are damn good. Don't ever for a moment doubt those guys, because they can still do this. This is not them, you know, out and, you know, done for already. This is them just on the cusp of turning it around. Everyone, you know, thought Fnatic previously made a couple of mistakes, and they did in the last finals. This time, they're doing a lot better. So I think we need to kind of almost take away Fnatic from the whole thing. And right now we need to focus on Zavod, we need to focus on Epsilon, we need to focus on how InFamouS are going to play this. It's not a map I feel InFamouS should be able to kind of dominate on, but I think it's going to be close and scrappy, and that might be where InFamouS find their foothold. All
right, now we're getting underway here with Zavod. We're going to have on the Russian side Epsilon, and over on the US side, it's going to be InFamouS here. And I wonder if we're going to see that wall go down that we typically have been always seen here. We're seeing, you know, Abercrombie pick up engineer class, so I'm expecting him to go for that here with that law. And let's see if he does.
It's a little blocked at the start there, actually.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate for him, but I don't think it's going to delay him too much here. But that split second right there could delay the information they need. And you can see Epsilon, they're in position already, and we see a lot of fire already breaking out in the middle. They're looking for the straight head-to-head fight right now, and Hist trying to go for that back cap.
Yeah, this is crazy play from InFamouS. They're going for a CB hold rather than the usual, no, sorry, a CA hold rather than the usual CB hold. And it's put them in really hot water. Epsilon already moving in towards that C flag. And this could cost them a trip cap to start with. At least, you know, there's a 2-1 against them. They can work from it, but this is not a good start at all. Asterix is laying in wait. We've seen the rest of the side against him push through, so now is his time to pounce. He's going to move toward the site. He does take down Grim. He's got Marzu to back him up, and now they should be able to get set up well to defend B, but actually a swift backtrack coming out from InFamouS should be able to turn this one around.
And that's not proven to be the right move here, as we do see Epsilon. They actually had a couple of respawns come in there. Apricot does pick up a nice little shot there. They actually have killed quite a few here, but they're down on so many men, and that's going to be Apricot picking up so many kills with the pistol. Well, it won't unfortunately be enough here, but they're still duking this out here, and Epsilon, they're committing every single man to this, and they got wiped. InFamouS are going to pick up C. They're going to maintain A here, and Epsilon are now forced to go for the random spawn towards the northwest side of the map.
And this is a big point for Tony. He can hold them up by A as well if he plays this one smartly. He's just going to hold the undertow push right now. But in the real action, it's going to be going down on B. Heist now has a hell of a lot of players moving in towards him. He does have some backup, but the grenades landing at his feet are going to take him away. And Rella is going to have to find a position here because he's outnumbered, outgunned, and taken down. And already Epsilon, Horek doing the thing he loves, picking up that back flag.
Well, he got it, and right now we see no one on InFamouS actually trying to head towards him, so he's going to have free reign over this. And I really want to see if he's going to transition off that to anywhere else. You can see, obviously, the command pings towards C. It looks like Epsilon want to go for it, but they have the 2-1 hold, so not necessarily in a rush here. I see Apricot trying to hold on to lower, but he will get taken down right there, and it will be actually 1v1 left here with Grimjow, and I believe that's going to be Duke, and Duke, real man that we want to see step up for the side of Epsilon, and he will right there. Picks up the kill. We'll have 2 more in there. He actually picks up another kill, and if he can get Tony as well, that'd be huge, and he will get him. He picks up about 4 or 5 kills in a couple of seconds right there, as give him complete control of B and C.
Perfectly played out then. Horek came in to support in the best time possible. And mid's looking vulnerable though. I don't want this to get InFamouS down too much right now. They're keeping this very close. 129 to 112. It is still a very close game. No one really breaking too far apart from each other. But it's still... InFamouS need to get themselves back in the game. They're getting scrappy now. They had a very interesting start. They worked it back. They had a good couple of 2-1s, and they've been constantly challenging. But now they need to make their minds up and make a move, because already it's going to be Horek getting himself out here and possibly challenging for a triple cap. This could go downhill very quickly.
Well, Horek will pick up one. There's going to be actually another man coming from his right side. He won't notice him just yet, but either way, he's pulled them back. He's pulled 2 people that he will get taken down, but it's kind of worth it. He pulled actually in the end about 3 as Apricot was there, and it holds him off from pushing on the C flag. It gives Epsilon the ability to hold on to these, and now they're gonna have the respawns coming in. So the tickets that they did have weren't that in their favor, but they're starting to get some momentum right now, and we're gonna see. Actually, I believe that is Apricot rush in, pick up a couple more kills, and that is gonna be C capped over. So you see Duke, David trying to work towards another flag, and looks like David will actually spout out and sit over at this B flag.
It was pretty much a flood of players just coming towards them, and they were overpowered Epsilon. There's not much you can do when you have an entire squad against 2 players, but you're seeing Duke work his way back in. They kind of retracted away. Okay, we've lost out on C. Let's play smart, move ourselves away, don't overstay our welcome, and come back when we have a full squad here, which they've done. And already Heist going down to Duke in that underpass has opened up a route towards A if they need it, if they find it hard to hold down on C. So already very good play from Epsilon, hence why they have the advantage here.
30 tickets going on about 40 very soon, and Duke sitting in the bottom of seat B is actually being capped over by 3 men on the side of InFamouS, so that should actually go their way. But Horek over at the A flag already causing some distraction, gonna be able to pick that up because there's no one there to contest this, and David might be able to pick up quite a few kills on this side. He's actually behind 1 man, as you saw on the map right there. He did in fact get the kill, and that has shut down 2 men working towards the C flag. As long as this one comes in, Horek, well, he will get dropped here, but he knows at least 1 more guy there, and it looks like Epsilon are actually going to lose the flag here for a little bit, but I would imagine they're going to have people up very soon to make a push.
Yeah, but they underestimated the fast rotate then from InFamouS. They put David out to try and challenge on B and watch the cross. They did not think they'd be straight in their faces by C. It's given InFamouS the 2-1 hold and a good chance to turn this around. Heist has been absolutely vital to this point. He takes out another, but Marzu finally takes him away from the picture. But still, this is a very close game, 102 to 76. This is what we wanted from these 2. InFamouS not playing their usual style, but certainly still looking better than before.
I like that, though. I mean, I think they realized, you know what, okay, our strategy, I guess Fnatic wasn't working. Maybe we should try something different. And, gotta give them credit. They're not that far behind. They have the 2-1 hold. They can easily come back here. And, this is the perfect time to make it happen because both of these teams, remember, they're 1 loss away from being knocked out of the entire tournament. They're fighting for their lives here. And right now, Epsilon, well, they seem to be doing a little bit better. But InFamouS are coming into this, and we see, Rella pick up a nice kill right there, picks up that headshot. We'll spot that second man out. We'll get the kill with the grenade, or even the FAMAS right there. And they do lose control of C, but at the same time, they're losing B. This is kind of slipping away out of their hands.
Yeah, Asterix playing extraordinarily smart. Thought about, okay, the natural thing to do is go for A when you lose C. All right, I'm going to head over towards B and hope that it's fairly open, and he's done just that. And it's going to corner off the pretty much the entirety of InFamouS. They're going to have to once again brute force their way in if they want to kind of chip away at this 2-1 hold, because BC, it's the ideal setup for a reason. You can create such a good crossfire, but at the moment, two players have slipped through Jason.
Let's see what they can do, and well, Grimjaw, he will be taken down, so really not much, and there's actually only one man left. It's Rella sitting down here below garage, gets a couple of respawns in, smart move by them. And it looks like he just spot one man out. They need to pick this guy up. He actually will get a return kill onto them. And Rella will get taken down as well. He gets another respawn, but this is terrible. You can't spawn 3 people down here and have them all die to one guy. David looking for the 4th, and he will actually not pick up because that's Masu picking it up. But either way, they stop the 4-man push there. They're going to get A now, and this is InFamouS just losing the duels. You cannot have that happen at this stage in the game.
It felt a little bit like panic then coming from them towards the end, then just help me out, Etsy. I need help.
Yeah.
Everyone coming in, and it was a very easy kill when they're just standing there for Epsilon. Not ideal at all.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen this time. Heist looking to hold on to B right now, but it will be taken down again. And I'm just trying to think, what can InFamouS do about this? What can they do to really kind of get back in it? And one thing I want to do is actually go ahead and listen to them really quickly just to hear what's going on, because you called it out perfectly. Someone was shouting, I need help, and the whole team went for it. So let's see if we can actually hear them here and see what's going through their minds.
Je pars tunnel. En avance, top C s'il vous plaît. On prend la jungle et compagnie. On attaque le C.
Come back, jungle mid. Fusée. Allez les gars. Il y en a un qui est au mid. Ça va, je crois qu'il Go, engage au top.
2 kills les gars, on avance.
Allez sur moi, back tunnel, check le back. Nice.
Top C à droite. Non. Nice.
Tentez de relance B, un qui part B.
Non, pas frontal les gars, pas frontal, ça va spawner. Tempo en B, tempo.
It seems to be, to me, very calm, but considering what's at stake right now and how far they're behind, that's really kind of interesting to me to see their kind of team mentality at this point.
Well, they need to keep calm. They have the 2-1 hold here. They have the advantage, but they have a massive ticket deficit. Grim finding Horik there has denied the A rotate and the cheeky cap there. And now they still have a good couple of players left towards this C site. So they can have a nice little control here. They can really set up quite confidently. As long as they can get these kills, that's not going to help.
Yeah, and we can see right now, I mean, it's 54-49, which is really weird. Like, it's not that in favor of Epsilon, but the key difference between the two teams is Epsilon's getting the kills when they need them in those clutch situations. Duke picking up 2-3 kills and holding on to a flag, or obviously Marsu able to help out Duke a little bit earlier on too. And right now Hist will come in from the backside. He won't even pick up a single kill there, and there's 4 men from Epsilon there. Avery going to be taken down as well, it looks like. And this is looking like we're going to see about a 60 ticket advantage for Epsilon.
It's looking like it. They can get B though. They're in a good position. They're more tucked in towards the site here. The rest of Epsilon have to make their way through with only 3 players alive. Now actually only 2, Asterix and Horik, the last 2 standing. They're doing the damage as best they can. Horik finds Grim, but quickly Apricot and Tony come back through. They're going to get a 2-1 hold. They're still chipping away at Epsilon. And I can imagine flashbacks from the last time around are going to start haunting these guys if they let this slip.
Yeah, very true. I mean, they're going to drop, if at this rate, below 40 tickets. And from that, honestly, it was 42. That was the big number to really kill him here. But Rella can be able to pick up one, trying to hold on to C. Will be taken down, though. Either way, no one's rushing into that C5 to actually capture. Duke's waiting for some teammates, and that actually is, unfortunately for him, a little bit of a mistake. And right now, he could potentially see that tri-cut coming in, as you do have the back cap on A. And as long as these 2 men can hold on to C, if Grimjaw can do this with this help of his friend, unfortunately cannot, but they're actually throwing a couple more respawns in there. They might be able to. And they might be able to pull off this tri-cut. They do. They will chip away at so many damn tickets from Epsilon, and it looks like they're pulling it off.
At great cost, though. 6 tickets left for them, and Tony's still going. He finally goes down, and this is just a matter of time. InFamouS are playing scrappy and fast because it gives them such a change of tickets. A, B still locked down. C up for grabs. We've seen them turn it over. They know B will be the smart side to go to for Epsilon, and they're still fighting. They can't afford deaths and respawns here, really, but they're still going to make a go of this. 34 tickets is down low for Epsilon, and they're struggling to close it out. Finally, Duke and David do the damage, and Heist is the last man standing, and those tickets will be ripped away. away, but they got a couple respawns in. Mid is where Epsilon are pushing towards. That's dangerous from them. Heist is there doing work. He takes down one. Asterix finally shuts him out. And still, 27 tickets to 3. The game's still on here.
Why aren't they trying to cap a 5? Why are they just duking out in middle? This is wasting so many tickets on their side. They're about to drop below 20 here. If Tony, if he could have held on there, he might have stalled for a little bit longer. Rella gonna give his chance. He's gonna take it as well. But you can see A-Rap's aside. They're getting the revives. Heist coming in as well. They have 1 ticket left to go with, left to work with, and they get them down to 16 tickets. This is ridiculous.
I don't want to say it's over yet. I really don't. Horik, Marzu, and David have a lot of work on their hands. They have B, but there's a setup team against them, but A's open. If Epsilon just pick up this site, they can do this. 9 tickets left against them. But Heist, and oh my god, that grenade. Apricot just took down his own teammate, and that could be literally the death. But 7 tickets to 1, Jason. This is not over yet.
And we do have actually a big fight breaking out A as we see him push in. If they can stop this cap, they actually might be able to take him down a couple more here. And it looks like they have been able to pick up the kill. They will get the A cap, and look at Epsilon's side. They need to get some respawns, but they don't have tickets. We could see InFamouS come back from being down about 30, 40 tickets to winning with 1. And even the knife coming in.
Oh my word, it is not done yet, but C is vulnerable. C is where Epsilon want to make their move, and they're going to have to make it fast. Only David and Duke alive, really. 1 ticket remains. Surely that's done it. Wow, 3 tickets left for Epsilon at the end. That was literally giving me a hard stack of that last game. Epsilon, they're not looking as confident, as strong as usual.
That is even an understatement right now, because they were leading by, was about 50, 60 tickets at some point in the game.
It was like 80 to 10.
And then they dropped just like a stone in a pond. And they could not seem to get afloat again. It was just at the tail end. From luckily, I think it was Duke getting the right position, getting the cap on C. They fought in middle, I think, for no reason. That made them lose like 20 tickets for no reason.
I don't know why they didn't focus C. They picked up B, as you mentioned, right? That was their starting point. What is the ideal setup? B and C. Where did we last see the other guys? They committed on A. All right, logically, let's go C. No. We want to go through mid. Let's go down to a really nice, like, funnel down area where they can just shoot us. That's a good plan. What on earth were they thinking? I don't know if it's the pressure. I don't know if it was the flashbacks of the last game coming in like, oh god, we let it slip before, we lost so many tickets, and now they barely have an advantage. If, you know, InFamouS can harness this, if they can go, okay, you know, we just did that. We just pulled off something incredible. If they can replicate that in the smallest way, I think they can do this.
It's so weird. You can see, you know, the reaction from both teams from the end of that first half. You know, Epsilon, they look a little bit upset, but InFamouS didn't look happy either.
Well, they didn't overperform, did they?
They didn't, but
at the end, they were great.
Yeah.
But at the start, it was like a little lackluster on their behalf. But still, to be fair to InFamouS, they went for a very unique start. They went for the C A hold straight away, and it did not work. Epsilon found them. It locked them out of the game very early on. So I feel as though that might have kind of hindered them a little there. But this time around, they need to focus up straight away, do the damage if they want to. But already, it looks like maybe Epsilon will be hitting up that C point. Look at where they're pinging out here. This could be an interesting strategy.
Let's see what happens. And right now, Epsilon will be on the US side this time. They will get control of C off the bat. And I'm going to guess that's Horik running around the long side towards A. I don't think
David.
It's David. What? All right, so they're changing things up a little bit here, and Horik was the man to actually sit back and see to cap that over, but some fighting breaking out at B. Marzu, who actually performed really well. I think he had about 20 kills at the end of that first half, and he's been, you know, kind of the sleeper of the team. He doesn't get a lot of, you know, mention, but he always plays well, and let's see if he can do it yet again here, and it will be a push on the B flag, but it will be maintained by InFamouS. But Horik going for the back at the same time. Grimjaw going to be there. They're actually right next to each other, and they haven't spotted each other just out yet.
Literally centimeters apart. You've seen them back away now. Actually, no, he's still there. Still in this corner doing the work, and that's all he has to do. Such smart play going out from David then. He needs to look in the right way, yeah. And he's got a glimpse. Perfectly done from David. And this could give him a trip cap, and it has. So well played from Epsilon. Finally, looking like the team we know. But C could be vulnerable, and it looks where InFamouS are wanting to go.
Well, let's see what happens right here as we're going to have Horik get taken down. A little bit unfortunate for him, but, you know, to me, it's kind of weird that he hasn't been having the best of games for some reason, and I want to see if he can kind of, you know, fix that, because he's needed within his team.
He definitely is. Well, Rella now doing the damage. It was the fast rotate I liked then from InFamouS. They picked up that C site after back and forth and kind of brute forcing their way in. And they quickly went out towards A through the underpass. But right now we're going to see the challenge happening down towards this site. Duke dropping out those nades, trying to keep them at bay. It will be maintaining it at 2-1 for Epsilon for now. But 126 to 140, InFamouS still have a chance here because let's bear in mind a 3-ticket disadvantage is not a great deal. I think we might be having some issues here. So for now, let's give it a little break, but we can kind of talk about what we've seen, especially in the first half with these two guys, because I think it was pretty much Epsilon all day, and then nothing, absolutely nothing. The start was interesting from InFamouS. You know, they went for a very unique beginning. They went for the beginning that I didn't expect. So I want to see what they can do now building up towards this.
I mean, okay, well, the thing is right now we're seeing... Remember what happened last time when they were playing against PKD and they had, you know, an 80-ticket lead and we had server problems, they crashed. They got really down themselves and we saw them lose their 40-ticket advantage or their 80-ticket advantage down to 40. It's only 3 this time, but I wonder what's going through their minds right now because they need to stay calm. They need, you know, to come back in this. They cannot let that, you know, disappointment from the first game come back and haunt them. And, you know, hopefully right now we're going to be able to get back in, you know, soon and I'm really unfortunate. I'm not really unfortunate. I really feel bad for them because they seem to, you know, be having some problems that just seem to haunt them. But this is the real thing: is that if they can come back and perform well, then they will show everyone that, you know what, we're over it. It's not a big deal, and we still want to get to those playoffs. Well, right now looks like they're a lot calmer this time though, and I think it's because of that, you know, lead that they had in the first one versus this one. Not that big of a difference. It's going to be a huge difference because it's only 3 tickets they're in lead with. But again, I mean, what's your thoughts on this? Because you're obviously, you play competitively as well. I talked to Dauber about this before. You know, if you have something like this happen on your side when you're playing, like how do you mentally get back past this as a team? Because to me, Epsilon are a very emotional team.
They are, and it's not easy. You start blaming everything else around you. You start blaming your teammates. You start blaming, you know, everything that could possibly go wrong in your mind. That's the problem. And sometimes you need to just take it for what it is and just kind of go, okay, guys, let's take a step back, calm down, talk it through. What was the initial problem? Okay, it was this. All right, how can we fix that? You got to stay calm. You need a good leader to kind of keep you in that mentality. If you don't have that, you're going to start struggling. So I'm hoping they can kind of keep themselves very calm, keep themselves ready here. And, well, it takes a very experienced team to be able to do that, to remain calm even at the worst of times, because that's when you get challenged the most. And it takes a very strong leader to be able to do it. I look back at some of the most prolific teams through esports, and most of them had these brilliant leaders. Whether you saw them on the scoreboard or not, it's not the main thing. They were never the big fraggers. They're the ones that knew how to keep a team calm, keep them focused, keep them on the next moment. Where do we go from here? And they're the guys that make the difference. They're the guys that will win you that ridiculous moment because you know you're doing the right thing, and you need to keep that constant faith in the one guy who's calling. Otherwise, you get, you know, mixed up, you get a little bit sloppy with it, and you start, you know, doubting each other. You start kind of falling apart. And that's what I thought might have happened to Fnatic if something went wrong early. We might be seeing it here for Epsilon instead.
Well, I mean, we did see their faces. To me, at least, though, they looked not as upset. They looked, you know, more concentrated. They seemed to be, you know, ready for it. They realized, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. We're still, obviously, not going to make that much of a difference. And, you know, obviously, we have Zavod here. We have Paris Storm cut up second, which you did mention before on Storm that you're surprised to see that picked, especially by Epsilon.
I think it's a very brave choice. We've seen that InFamouS can do those fast rotates. It generally what gave them the C and A hold in this. If they were locked out, let's say on B, they'd go for a fast push towards C, especially on Zavod. You can kind of see it. I'll explain why it applies to the next one. They'll go for a fast pickup on C. They'll push through underpass, over. They'll leave one guy to cap it out, get straight towards A. It's these fast rotates that they love doing. Now, maps like Storm also allow for that. But to an extent, you still need to be able to get set up, which might be what Epsilon are depending on. You know, if they get the buildings under control, they get the setup, they leave them out, you know, towards C. They get the A/B hold, they get the buildings, and just keep them back there. But that means you have to be able to control these guys. You have to be able to keep them at arm's length, which was the Fnatic plan, and it worked for Fnatic. They kept them away constantly. They never let them get close. For me, I'm not sure if Epsilon are as strong at doing that, but hopefully we can see something close to it if they want a chance here. Epsilon needs to be able to replicate it and play smart. You can see they're almost ready this time. But it's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be a very hard battle. InFamouS this time looked more dangerous than before. As you saw right towards the end then, they certainly came into their own and became maybe a small element of what we saw previously.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing we can't take away from them. They did pull back that 40 ticket difference. They were able to really claw their way back in the game and take it to only 3 difference. And honestly, it's basically a fresh game here. I mean, even before the little bit of a error that we had, the issue that we had, because it's going to be from what I hear, just a restart of the second half, 150, 150, and restart from the beginning. And obviously, we saw Epsilon with the lead, but then InFamouS kind of just they started to get their footing, and that's what we see when they can finally get their foot in there, get their foot in the door. They can really start to pick up quite a few tickets. But we're going to wait here in just a few seconds. I believe they're just kind of fixing the sides. And who's your money on for this best of 3? Because I don't think we actually really talked about it.
No, we didn't. But to me, it's depending on so many small chain events right now. Because in my eyes, InFamouS are picking up moments by moment. So that ridiculous turnaround at the end, that's a bonus. They lost overall, but we took them from 80 down to 3. Mm-hmm. We had like 5 tickets for 10 minutes basically there. It was ridiculous. That's a bonus. Then you look at Epsilon, it's been a bit of a slippery slope for them. I don't feel they've had a good moment here. So I think they need to find a little bit of a ray of sunshine right now in a very cloudy day, because we are almost ready to get underway. And I think for me, it's a slippery slope for Epsilon, and right now they're falling down it.
I'd agree. And again, I just want to go back to saying that, to me, they're a very emotional team. Yeah. And that really drives how they play. And the thing is about an emotional team, obviously you have some really low lows when you get down yourselves, but at the same time, you have very high highs. Like, you can play so damn well if everything feels perfect, like we're talking about, or I was talking about with Dogbert, with PKD, everything's falling in line. You can really bring this up. But right now, we're starting this one up. We're going to have InFamouS on, obviously, the Russian side, and we're going to have Epsilon over on the US side. And let's see how this one goes. We obviously saw Epsilon go for a different route. They went for C and A, and they gave up B, but this time they're playing things a little bit differently. Yeah,
let's check and see what we've got kind of happening so far. Right now, InFamouS have walked away with the B-A hold. A little bit unpredictable. Normally, it's the US side who'll pick up B, and right now I think we will see that swinging over towards Epsilon, but Tony has something to say about the matter, staying around a little bit longer, gets the... I think it was a little too late then, but actually they're in a very good position to pick this side up.
And also, we did have a trade in favor of the side of InFamouS on the A flag. Grimjob picked up the kill to David, stopped that push from coming in. We could see a potential tri-cap coming in here, but to me, I don't understand why they're pushing for this right now. I don't understand why they're trying to be super aggressive when they can just sit back and milk this one out.
Because they have players far enough back that they can get these respawns in. So B is now... Oh, wow, that is a big problem. But at the moment, it's going to be B that's going to be the threat. It's a 3v2 maybe in favor to Abricon and these guys on the site. You can see that kind of happening with David going down there. But still, as we said, that back spawn will be coming into effect. And actually, they've come over to support by B. They want this B site, Epsilon.
They do, and let's see if they can pick it up here as we're having... see Duke pushing with his teammates. And looks like they will cap it over, so they'll get a 2-1 back for themselves. And we're going to see how that's going to change, obviously, here in just a few, as it looks like just in kills alone. 11-9, I believe it was. So it's not that big of a difference between the two teams. But obviously, that's different in tickets. 142 to 120 right now, 20-ticket lead. And InFamouS, they're looking solid. They really are. Remember, 3 tickets is the difference between these two teams in that first half. And that, honestly, you can't even really call that a lead. No. I mean, I guess if you look at the PKD Epsilon game on this, you could. But right now, it isn't.
And right now, Epsilon are in severe trouble. They're not finding these sites. They push away from them too fast, and actually, it's been a fairly extended 2-1 hold in favor to InFamouS, and a perfect play from Rella picks him up too, and defends this C site. Just Marzu is left standing, who is the B defender, means that these guys can get set up to hold this one down and find out where they're pushing. InFamouS have found their form, and this is a worrying time for Epsilon.
It is indeed, and they need to do something differently here. They need to get back in this, and if they don't, they're going to be going home. I mean, obviously, they'll be down 1 map, but they're 1 map away from going home, potentially. And Rella sitting tucked in on the C flag. They have the AC hold. And it's weird, because David's taken over the Horik role. He's the one that's been going for the A flag over and over again, because it seems like Horik not feeling too confident in it, but he's not doing that well either.
No, and I think the onslaught coming in from Epsilon will begin any second now, and InFamouS, they're falling like flies, and actually Epsilon just brute force their way in with 3 players, Marzu, Duke, and I believe that was Horik. They're Actually, it looks like InFamouS didn't really have a backup plan in place that time, which should even out the tickets a fair way. At the moment, 130 to 90 is brilliant for InFamouS, but they're so far back. B and C, hence why their commentary means they've got a long run ahead and a very well set up Epsilon to challenge them on every front.
And right now, Tony going to work his way in, but taken down immediately here. And Epsilon just trying to get the respawns in. Look at that. Rather, last man standing over towards A. He'll pick up a kill. I believe that was onto Marsu. So at least we'll hold on to the A flag here, but they're going to start losing that lead that they've been able to build up. And Epsilon are starting to claw their way back in. And the thing was, like with Epsilon being down, was it 30 tickets at the time, 30 to 40? It seemed like they were starting to play really worse, but something changed. I guess someone got really pumped in their comms because they're definitely playing a lot better right now. And let's see what happens with Grimjaw. Looks like he's going to be pushing. He's trying to control the middle area, and we haven't really seen that too much, at least, out of all the games on Zavod so far. A lot of teams aren't really too worried about holding on that middle area. They're more about that underpass, attacking that C flag from the front underground or from the backside. And right now, they're going to be knocking on the door here, coming in, looking for the kills, and Hiss getting naded down, and he will be dropped. And Duke, well, he's able to hold on to this one. Looks like he'll push through, and we'll stop the push. They'll hold the 2-1 still.
Brilliantly played out from Epsilon. And this is the danger of them once they get set up. They become this real beast of a team. They become such a dominating factor, but it has been challenged, and I feel that InFamouS picking up an engineer, actually, maybe looking to remove some of the cover away from the team that can get so set up, are looking for a way back into this. They still have the lead here, even with the deficit taken into account, but they need to find a way back through. C is the site they want, and actually, they have the numbers for this.
Let's see if they can do it, though, and now David going to be nading through, looking for the man. Will actually get trumped by the FAMAS of Grimjaw, and Hist working back towards A again. So they're holding A and C. Epsilon, this is the tricky point for me, is they finally got, not the lead back, but they clawed away at the entire lead that InFamouS had. But if they start to slip here, if they start getting them down themselves because of losing that 2-1 hold, I feel like it could be a very, very slippery slope. And let's see, this attack to me needs to be successful for them, for the morale of their team. And Hork leading the charge in, picks up the first kill, looking for number 2 or maybe even number 3 in here. So you see Tony on the bomb side. Tony will get dropped here, and Epsilon looking to get control of C, and it looks like they in fact will.
Yeah, they've taken so many of the players from inside it. There's no way these guys who are left standing can do anything. So it's a quick rotate out towards B, the smarter choice to make, but they're being held up on the way. Not the best route to take towards this bomb site. And actually, look, one man is doing this. It's just Asterix playing smartly on the bomb site, nading out, constantly healing up, and just buying time. And that's exactly what they need. Finally goes down, but in the meantime, Epsilon were able to put Horek out towards A and just keep themselves still locked in by C, unless this man can do something pretty incredible.
Well, you mentioned buying time, and he in fact did that, and did it flawlessly. They're going to get a tri-cap here, and it allowed Hort to get the A-cap since he had no one to really contest against. And it looks like Rella will be able to stop that with the help of his teammates getting some respawns in. But he gets dropped as well, and they're losing on these fights. You can look at the kills. It's 28-40 in favor of Epsilon. The score doesn't really reflect that too well, but it will soon if they can keep this up.
Yeah, Horek finally goes down after a bit of a rampage. Duke follows suit, and it's Rella, who I just switched away from, doing the work. They pick back up on A, and even without the kills necessarily in their favor, there's still danger. And look at this very fast rotate from InFamouS. This could be them picking up C again.
There's going to be at least 3-4 people closing onto this flag. They need to come up with some big kills here. Avery, he's not going to pick the first one. I think they're even getting some respawns in as well, as Rella trying to hold on. We've seen him in this position before, but he got dropped last time. This time he's not going to let it happen. Picks up one, gets the second one, I believe. No, he did not. I got too excited there, but he will get dropped, and that will be C picked up back for Epsilon.
Yeah, but it's 59-65. It's not a big deficit. They made a good push of it. They've lightened up B, so they could go for a swing round towards that as long as they leave one man back on A, because we know who it is going to be going out towards A if they get the opportunity. Now, right now, B is looking quite vulnerable. They could make a bit of a push out of this one. The nades will be keeping the likes of Epsilon rather busy, and the frags will follow. Tony and Heist doing great damage there, taking down 2, leaving only Horek alive, and C is looking like where they want to go. They still have A. They should only send one player back. Why 2? Are they looking for the BA hold? I'm not sure if that's an ideal setup, but they might start running it.
Let's see. And luckily for them, there's actually 2 or 3 people there, and Horek, yeah, very slow. Played it very cautious, and if there's one man you ever want to attack or hold onto an A flag, it's going to be him, and it looks like he will be able to actually cap it over here in just a few seconds. Has the backup from his team, picking up 1 kill onto InFamouS. And right now, 51-50 tickets, dead even here. Remember, 3 tickets is that threshold of Epsilon drop below that. And Avery now pushing in towards his flag. We'll get right behind the man. We'll pick up the kill. We can get the revive on top of that. And they will have no one else to actually fight against to C. So they will hold B. They will hold C. And Epsilon, they're struggling right now. I think remember, this is the team who was placed #1 in the entire season, won 3 out of the 4 cups.
a top team at every single occasion, but at the moment, InFamouS looking a little bit better, looking a little bit more dangerous. Duke does find Heist, however, but still, B is still in the hands of InFamouS, and they're trying to keep, take as much time as possible, trying to play it smartly here, trying to deny them on every single front, but C looking a little bit worse for wear, and only one man to really lock down B. This looks like maybe there could be a good extension of tickets in the favor of Epsilon now.
He could, and right now, Rel, I was about to say, I was going to commend him on staying alive so long, but
yeah,
after getting dropped right there, and 40-37 is now the scoreline here, and it's getting so close. It's going to come down to a photo finish, I feel like, here, and Tony, he's waiting for a respawn or two, trying to hold on to see. We could see the tri-cap come in here, but Avery going for the back cap on the B. He will be successful in that. Tony will be taken down, though, and they're going for the 2-minute push back to A here, and Avery, he will hold on to the push. He will get B, and A should go in favor of InFamouS here in just a few seconds.
Let's see if they can make this one count. Heist chasing down Duke, not the best man to challenge in a 1v1. Duke turns it around and they maintain on A, but the back spawn, perfect for Tony. 25-34, they need to get a 2-1 and damn fast, because right now they're going to be losing out on these tickets. The kills are coming in drastically in favor to Epsilon, but they're playing the flag game right now, InFamouS. They're playing smart. They're leaving Apricot as pretty much the anchor of this team to only get respawns when necessary and constantly using A as the launching point. But can he do it now as Epsilon are going to be kind of pulling themselves together and trying to get this one in the bag?
18-31. Epsilon's so close to pulling away a victory on this, but we've seen this game go back and forth so quickly, and in fact, it's already been able to do that as we have the 2-1 hold here, and maybe a push into C as well. There's only actually now 3 men spawned in over at the C flag. It's being capped over, but you can see Grimshot looking for a kill or two. He will be dropped, but it's a 1-for-1 trade so far, and we're going to see the fight continue to pretty much go down here as B's being capped over in the meantime.
This is a scrappy game, but at the moment, it's not InFamouS looking too good. They've had to pull in the respawns. They've had to pull in these guys to try and make this one count. Losing out on a lot of tickets, but they do claim C in the end. But is there anyone that can get to A fast enough to deny Horek? This is where they make their chance. 9-17. Epsilon are having flashbacks right now. 3 tickets is the maximum number of tickets that can be left with InFamouS if they want this, and that is perfect play coming out from Epsilon. Duke and Horek keeping them at arm's length, and A should be Epsilon's any second now, unless one man can make all the difference. It will be Grim coming in, takes down one, gets denied in the end. Surely this is all she wrote on the first map.
Well, they have to at least spend 2 more tickets on respawns. They will drop down to about 4 here unless Tony can pick up the kills he needs in this A flag. There's the respawns, 4 tickets now, 3. They will get the A cap, they will neutralize it, but they lose that on C. This is going to be Epsilon picking up the first map by the skin of their teeth.
Very, very close game towards the end then. It's too little too late, but InFamouS, how close did that get? Epsilon, a little bit shaky at times, not looking great, but they pulled it off in the end. But it was not pretty. 9 tickets towards the end of this, that's not the score you want. And I've got to give credit. People, everyone who watches Battlefield will know that Epsilon, the guy that I said, when they play well, it's going to be Duke, 24-13. The only person close to him on the opposition was 15-16. That's a big difference of playstyle right there.
It really is, and I think that whole game came down to that last push. Other 2 men from the side of InFamouS. I believe it was Abry, and I think it was Tony pushing onto the A5 trying to stop the cap over, but they both got dropped, and because of that, it cost them 2 tickets for the respawn, and they weren't able to hold on to the flag. And to come down to like one moment like that, to look back at it and be like, oh, if we just would have got those kills, we played a little bit smarter, we could have come out, obviously with a 1-map lead, but either way, they show that they can contend with Epsilon, one of the best teams here in Battlefield 4, and that means we're going to be going over to Storm, which I think we both agreed that they could easily take this game.
InFamouS should not walk away with this with any sort of heavy heart.
Or disappointment at all.
They got close to the guys who finished first throughout the entirety of the Cups, who trashed Fnatic several times, who've looked near on unstoppable online. You get to these offline events, not so much so. Whether it be the lights, the nerves, whatever hits them, it certainly does hurt. But right now, Storm is a map that takes perfect cohesion, smart leadership, and I'm not sure I'm seeing too much of that from either side. If anyone, it's probably more InFamouS.
There's one thing I'm worried about, though, for both teams. Or at least, no, on the side of InFamouS, one thing I'm worried about. The single building on the west side of the map. I feel like if Marsu gets there, Marsu will never let that go, and he will dominate the C and B flag. Like, you pointed out so many times in the group stage, just how impactful that spot can be. And then it comes down to the fact that, will the buildings be destroyed? Because you can take away that spot completely by destroying the walls and not allowing that person to tuck in and really get set up.
Well, this to me will show how much work that, let's say, InFamouS have put towards anti-stratting, rather than just, okay, let's play as the 5 we are and see how this goes. this has to come down to them playing, against a very specific opponent. And it's how everyone else kind of worked out how InFamouS play. They kind of did the smart thing of anti-stratting them to an extent. Now, as I mentioned, the singular building is a vital point. It's basically so you can keep A and B in your hands. We are talking about Storm here if you're only just tuning in. But, C is pretty much out on its own. It's very much a little bit of an island within itself. You don't really have a site complementing it. And it's a long way there. The back spawns, if you're holding B and A, get you at C. It's either behind C or just to the left of it if you're looking overboard. And it's not great to be stuck on that. You're literally running into guys who are set up in buildings who have the vertical advantage. It's never easy. I see very few teams able to turn it around from that. So I'm not sure if these guys can do it. I kind of hope they can really show us a good game here, but I feel it's dangerous. I feel if InFamouS play the fast and loose game, he can kind of fall apart because Marzu is a very smart player in that aspect, and he can really work that singular building with the support from the doubles. But we'll see. We'll see if these guys, it's about who turns up, because I'm really not sure right now.
I've got word from our producer that we're actually changing the servers just to make sure we don't have any more problems. Obviously, we want this to go out, really smoothly, and we don't want to have anything repeat, from earlier on today. And well, right now, Storm, it's one of my favorite maps, just not for the actual Storm that happens during the game, but it really shows how well you can play as a team, because it's one of the more heavy synergy kind of maps that's needed, or one of the, you know what I mean. But it's going to be tough, I think. I feel like, I want to say Epsilon has a better synergy as a team, but InFamouS can kind of be that wild card team that can catch you off guard with certain strategies and whatnot.
Yeah, they certainly can be, but we'll see if it comes into effect. It's all theoretical. It's, I predicted a very different bracket. I predicted a very different result, but we're gonna have to see. I really don't know. It's completely up in the air right now, and it's down to who can kind of either really, let's say, capitalize on how the last map went, and who can forget it the fastest. So we'll have to wait and see. We're going to have to find out who can really step up and become the team to make it through a little further, because, I think InFamouS have had a tough time so far. They've had some very hard opponents. They've had, Fnatic to start with, which is just a killing blow. To be labeled as the team that could do something, and then kind of struggling towards the end, it can really knock the confidence. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way to call it. We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things right now is that, within Group A, anyone can kind of beat anyone. That's already been proven so far today. And, Group B isn't going to get easier for anyone. And like you were saying before, now Fnatic plays first.
Yeah.
You don't want to play second in Group B. You don't want to go up against Fnatic as the main team. And the thing is, you don't want to play against any of these teams to have an easier victory, because there is no easier victory at all for anyone. And right now, Epsilon, they're trying to repeat their performance they had last season, trying to get into the playoffs. And I really feel for them. I really actually want to see them get there, because they've always been struggling with, I guess, their identity in terms of, everyone's like, well, Meg's not in the team anymore. Epsilon's not going to be that great, but Duke, really stepped up for his team, I have to say, and also David. And I think they're fighting against that. They want to prove everyone else wrong that, we're still a top team even without Mayic. And, they have proven that, obviously, throughout the season, placing first 3 out of the 4 times and placing first overall within the season. I just want to see them do it. I want to see them live up to what they have shown us to be. Right now, InFamouS at the same point. You actually wrote about them on our ESLgaming.com page, and you're saying they're the team that has been working really hard. And if you think back to the first season, Pyrogym didn't perform well the entire season.
Yeah, they qualified through in last place,
16th
I believe.
place, yeah. And then they surprised everyone in the groups, and they surprised everyone at the offline finals, because they put in the work, they put in the hours. I want to see if InFamouS, they put in the work, obviously, but we need to see it. We need to see that work. And they've obviously did it in the first map. I mean, 3 tickets at the end was ridiculous, but they need to prove it now in Storm, because they are 1 map away from being eliminated. Yeah,
and that's going to be in the forefront of their minds probably here. It's getting over that kind of feeling and trying to be as focused as possible. But I also want to kind of ask guys at home how they're feeling, because, we're in this kind of tunnel-visioned environment. We see these guys week in, week out, and it's hard to kind of ignore what we've noticed to this point. But we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. But you guys at home, let us know your thoughts. Obviously, the hashtag ESL1, written out properly, ONE, not with the the number 1, should I say. make sure you get in contact with us, because we like hearing the opinions of you guys at home, because we saw a nice little tweet coming through there as well. If you want your name up on the screen, go and do that. Give us your predictions and tell us as to why. So far, wow, 88% to Epsilon? After a 3-ticket half, what game are you guys watching? Come on now. Come on now.
Wait, it was what? It was 8% for PKD
Jeez.
against 92? I mean...
It's like a landslide or nothing.
Yeah. Right now, it's just a lot of people are going to be losing points and trying to get those sweet peripherals that we're giving away. And obviously, you know, the extra things. And
yeah, if I don't find them first. Like, I'm sure they've actually hidden it away from
after
me.
You get to them.
I'm sure they've actually hidden them from me now. I've been walking
really
around
nice
with it. It looks incredible.
It glows like orange.
Oh, damn.
Maybe we can split it.
I'm not sure if that works.
You get half the keyboard. I get the side that has QWERT, and you get the side that has YUIOP.
Okay, sure.
But then, actually, I missed the numpad. Oh, I don't know.
Anyways,
we're completely off topic here, but we're going to be getting live here in just a few seconds. It looks like both teams are going to be ready. Looks like we will be kicking this off. We're going to have over on the US side Epsilon, and over on the Chinese side, it's going to be InFamouS. We're on Parasol Storm here, and this is going to be a tough one. Right now, InFamouS, they are one map away from being eliminated, and Epsilon are one map away from advancing on to play against the team that knocked them into the lower brackets, Planet Key Dynamics. Lauren, why don't you take us into this one, because it's going to be crazy.
As you said, US side being Epsilon, starting there with a nice little spot towards A and B. We're seeing a big split coming out from these guys. We see 2 engineers for InFamouS as well, certainly looking to take down the cover that may be set up straight away. Perfect rocket coming through, almost catching 3 players from Epsilon, and we are seeing no kills just yet, but all the cover that may have been there for Epsilon at the start has now been taken away. Rella does find David. A currently in the hands of InFamouS. It's going to be all about that B take over here. One player did go down towards the end, probably Rella, who did try to go for a little bit of a split, but still, let's take a look and have a little bit of an overview of what happened so far.
Right now we do have a 1-to-1 hold so far, as it looks like over on the US side for Epsilon. They will be get control of B, and you know, there's one thing I really want to point out, is that some teams, like midway through the game, like, all right, we should take down the cover, we should destroy the buildings or whatever. But by that point, it's kind of too late. So I like this investment. Yes, you know, InFamouS, they're not going to get the early 2-to-1, but they'll be able to play the game they want to by taking down all this cover later on. So a little bit of investment going to hurt them in the beginning, but I expect they're going to be able to turn around. And right now, Tony, he's working towards C. He picked up the kill. He will get the 2-to-1 hold. And now let's see, can InFamouS hold on to this? And I want to say that they can. They have the potential to.
Yeah, but Grim's in trouble. He's about to be surrounded. He has backup coming from the side. Heist needs to take down Marzu. Marzu breaks out, and that's going to open up A completely and derail this retake of the buildings. Abricot now has to turn around. Asterix can take down Rella, and Epsilon, by getting 1 kill, can make this really hurt. Marzu doing the job we know he can, and it looks like the B-A hold will eventually fall into the hands of Epsilon, who are going for the triple cap. They're not happy with the standard setup. They're going to force the back spawn down here and 1 up here. And this is looking disastrous for InFamouS in this very second, because this trip cap just really hurts. I'm not sure what the plan is now. The storm's rolling in, and those tickets are just flooding away from InFamouS.
And InFamouS, they proved me wrong. I thought they had what it took to really hold on to those 2 flags, but they lose out on everything. Yes, they're trying to cap B back over right now, but not before losing a lot of morale within the team and a lot of tickets, and it looks like Avery will be able to at least stay alive for a little bit. He's being charged down, but one man to his left, he will get taken down. B will only be neutralized. It won't be capped over. And look at this, 137 to 117. Epsilon have full control of this game. They're not letting a single drop slip away from them, a single ticket. And this is really hard to come back from. InFamouS, they need something going, and that might be it. Grimjob picking up 1. Maybe if you can get a second here, they can open up some sort of advantage. So it looks like they will finally get control of A with the help of Rella.
And it took its damn time. Jesus, they are really not making this easy on themselves. They're being picked up in these buildings. They removed the cover, yet they're trying to play the game that complements having it there. And this is what's costing them it. Epsilon went, okay, that's what you want to play, we'll adapt. InFamouS are not playing to what they've just done. Tony trying to play on the ground, trying to play smart, but I don't feel this is working out. Long range rotates for Rella are going to take time out towards C, and there's still 1 player on towards it. But you have to see a good couple of players here towards this singular building, but they're not making much of it, and they're losing out on the one side they had because they've been so slow to make a move out of this. And now the triple cap could be coming in for Epsilon.
Wow, look at that. They're still picking up the kills. Yes, they were able to turn around at least with 1. And it looks like we'll still have a 1v1 happening over towards the C5. As you can see, middle going to be capped over potentially for the side of InFamouS, but they're still struggling. They've had A for a couple of seconds and immediately got taken away. We're going to see actually a lot of action happening towards C if we can focus on that, because it's going to be a 2 or 3 on 2, and we have to see InFamouS hold this. They have to hold on to this 2v3, and we're going to find out if they're going to be able to do it, because if they lose control of this, it will be a 2-to-1 back in favor side of Epsilon, not to mention more tickets, and it looks like they won't do it. They'll be taken down. There's still a 1-on-1 diving behind the crates there. And that will be David picking up the kills, locking down C. They will get the 2-1 and maybe even a 3-cap back for themselves because there's no one even on B right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised Epsilon went for such a big presence towards C. It's not one of the, the sweet spot flags, but at the moment we're seeing another triple cap straight away for Epsilon. These guys are looking dominant right now. Marzu doing the damage towards 2, leaving just Heist and Tony alive. And I've got to say it, InFamouS are falling to pieces. They've lost the edge they could have built, and you can see it on their faces, even on the cameras. They look so down in this, and I don't blame them. They're playing sloppy. They're not playing the game that we know they can. And it's going to start hurting now. They picked up C, they have A, there's a 2-1. But can they maintain this? I'm not sure. Already Duke's there, already they're set up in the buildings. Epsilon look like they mean business now.
And they're still down about 60 tickets, only a couple minutes into the game. It's only been 4.5 minutes, actually, and you see this giant lead for Epsilon. It looks like they're not even going to have anyone at A. Duke's just going to walk right into the side, be like, hey, this is free, I'll take it. Why not? And the one man that was near it is Grimjaw, who's actually heading nowhere. I mean, he's really not going towards any certain direction. He gets taken down by Asterix from the backside, and they might lose out on B here for Epsilon, but it doesn't matter. They have enough people there to defend it.
I kind of want to listen in with them and see what's going on, because clearly they're lacking communication and leadership. So let's tune in and see how it's going down over on the InFamouS camp.
B flag.
1 B house and 1 B flag.
Jungle spawn. Down.
Okay, that was actually Epsilon. So let's head on over to the other. They sound calm and collected. How's the other side going?
T'arrives sur C. Connais pas sur moi. Sur le M2, Abri.
Il est en haut, il est en haut. Vas-y, go, là, je suis avec toi.
Vas-y, go.
Poté.
Là, spot, putain. Oh, putain. Gauche, mais il a pris une tête.
Mort.
Nice.
Gauche à gauche.
Non, nice, ça.
Moi en haut et.
Ça gueule en A, ça gueule en A.
Et je reprends le M.
Not quite as calm, certainly a little bit more pumped up, but they need to be there still with a massive ticket deficit. They've got to work their way around this now.
I need to, and Tony will pick up a kill on Asterix. And that FNAF's yet again. Seems like a lot of teams have adapted over to this style. Not seen as many Ace 23s, especially on a map like this where a little bit of extra range might actually help out quite a bit. Depending on the way you're playing, obviously. But right now, InFamouS, they've gotten the 2-1. They're starting to claw back at that difference. It's 40 tickets now, down 20 from 60. And they're starting to get a little bit of steam rolling. They're starting to build up that snowball. But let's see how long they can really get it going as Heist will be dropped here. And Epsilon, it looks like they're just going to take their time, make sure to play this one smart. We want a big lead, or they're saying they want a big lead for this one into the second half, and they want to close it out to 2-0. They don't want to take it to map number 3, and they might be able to pull it off, but right now they still have to walk through InFamouS here.
See, Joel, the thing is, though, I don't know why InFamouS are playing this building game when they literally removed all the cover that really complements it. It's allowed Epsilon to sneak through, pick up the B flag. They already have a couple challenged and down on towards A. C is also being challenged, but finally goes in Abru's favor. But still, this is a completely backwards strategy. I don't understand why they did this. There's a 2-1 hold against them. They're going to struggle to set up, and I don't understand their choices they made at the very start there. It really complements a different style of play. As you can see, right there and then, Apricot just gets taken down by his own grenade. But still, he would have been absolutely in dire straits if he pushed out towards B. It doesn't make sense to me. And right now, they're suffering for it. 80-39. It's not looking good. And I don't think they're going to recover from this.
Well, with Marsu being 13-5 and Asterix being 11-9, and the real big killer for Epsilon, Duke, who's only 9-3, I'd have to agree with you. There's no real standout player on the side of, at least for me, on the side of InFamouS just yet. I mean, the only person that has a positive KDA is 7-6, and that's Tony, and that's going to be, I think, gone here in just a few seconds. And all right, now Marsu again. Dopper pointed out he's a fantastic player. All the pro players know that, and he's proven it here. He's been the MVP to me so far within Epsilon in every single game they've played, even with the one they lost earlier on. But see, well, it'll be capped over for InFamouS. They'll be able to get that back, and they are down to 20 tickets though.
Yeah, and I kind of want to hear him with Epsilon. We had a little bit of a taste of it earlier. Let's actually hear how it's going right now as they're on the verge of picking up the first half here.
It's clear.
B flag, clear the nice. A clear.
Job. I will go solo. Good shit, Mars. We're gonna spawn C, or maybe B. I'm watching B. No one B yet.
I stay sniper.
Don't spawn more.
Don't spawn more, okay, don't spawn.
No, don't spawn.
Very smart, very calm, and really, really great comms coming through from you. You can hear it. Even just knowing where they're not is such a big bit of information. 80-2. This is what we expected from Epsilon, and that is a massive lead on the half. Big amount of tickets there.
The thing is, I like how they're saying hold spawns because every ticket matters. And it was proven against PKD. 1 ticket difference in that match. And right now, obviously only winning by 3 tickets in the first half, or the first game on Zavod, coming out with 80 on the second map. And that is just amazing. You can see there's some smiles on their faces. They're finally looking a little bit happy here. And you know, come into the second half for InFamouS, I honestly don't feel confident that they can pull this one back.
No, and I once again want to highlight, why the hell did they go with 2 engineers and then be forced to play the game style that counters? They never were able to gain control of the buildings because of that. They constantly got challenged. And Epsilon went, okay, you do that. We can't have a setup 2-to-1 hold then, because C's not viable to maintain. Let's just go for the constant trip cap. Let's constantly work out where you're spawning. Let's constantly be on these fast rotates. And that's why they got the game. They were in their face the whole time. How many trip caps did we see?
It felt like one long extended one.
And even when they did, the big problem with triple caps is you can be spread too thin and lose out on everything.
Exactly.
It's the gamble, and we saw it happen towards the middle. Then it got turned around a little closer. It was at like 137 tickets for a good long while. He got turned around, and there was a little bit of a glimmer of hope for InFamouS. But then they didn't learn from what went wrong at the start. So it's this very weird attitude from these guys. And I'm not sure if they'll even think about going for the engineer class this time. And Epsilon might.
And what's so weird was that they were down 60 tickets. You know, at one point in the game when you mentioned that we had Epsilon at 130. But the weird thing was they brought it down to 40 tickets. Like they clawed away at the lead. But then they lost it again. It went up to 80. Like that 40-point swing that happened right there was all due to those triple casts we saw come in. And right now,
do you remember what I said?
I want you to point this out for us because you see something that's going to be a little bit interesting here.
Well, previously Epsilon... Okay, normally I don't think Epsilon really play this engineer game, but it worked pretty damn well before in their favor, even though it was actually InFamouS who gave them this advantage. And now we're going to be seeing Asterix actually running with the engineer, probably going to blow up a couple of walls and split over towards the A site eventually. So as you can see, exact same start to try and get the crosses, but already a bit of a counterplay from Heist. Goes to the straight-up challenge and then heads back towards B. This is much better from InFamouS.
Well, let's see if they can pull it off, though. Obviously, they've been able to get C, they've been able to get B here. They have full control of the buildings. They're playing the building game now, but with cover this time, like you're mentioning, you're really pointing out. And let's see how they can do, because they're starting off very strong here. But remember, they only have about 70 tickets to work with.
Yeah,
That's
not a lot.
That's half their tickets that are basically gone, if I can do math correctly.
They need to play a very fast-paced, very quick reactionary game here and really be on point with every single moment they take. So right now we are seeing C being challenged over. They need to respond straight away. Nades come through, spam goes out. It's going to be Horek doing the singular work, but he gets found in the end by Tony. C is maintained, B is maintained, and it might be a triple cap coming out for InFamouS. This is a very different team. And somehow these guys are staying alive on C as well. Just somehow they managed to avoid those bullets. But a very different side from the very start for InFamouS. But whether or not they can maintain, very different matter.
And after a minute and 10 seconds, they finally lose out on their first ticket. Finally. And that is a long time to hold on to that. But the thing is, they're going for ballsy play, and I like that. They kind of realize this is a situation that calls for extreme measures. Let's go for the tri-caps. Let's really push this. And the one thing they need to make sure that they don't do is after a tri-cap, get tri-capped right back, which we see that happen all the damn time. And right now, Marsu, a real MVP, like I was saying before, for me, pushing in towards the A flag. It looks like he won't spot out Heist here, and will he pick up the kill? Well, it looks like he, in fact, hasn't just yet, but he has spotted the men out. He's still pushing towards the flag, but he's delaying him. He actually made him push down towards the south side, get a respawn in on top. And well, Tony, as you can see, holding on to C, he actually will be dropped there. And that will be Epsilon taking the 2-to-1 hold.
Yeah, the bait and switch there, lightening what was defending out on towards C, bringing all the forces of InFamouS back towards A, and there's that 2-to-1 as mentioned. And it's the good, and it's that, well, it's not the best one in the world, but they're leaving one man. That's the difference. You have to leave Horek up here to be able to defend it, and I hope that no one gets overrun within these buildings. Right now, InFamouS have the ability to do so, and it looks like they're going to challenge it. They have a player on the point, they've got Grim pushing in, looking for the respawns. He's spotted out one by C, because we know that Horek will have to push off of there, because already InFamouS are looking dangerous here. They're looking like they're happy to get in their faces and really bring a hard game to play against. 2-to-1 in their favor, but can they maintain it?
We're going to find out here very, very soon. And right now they're starting to build up a nice little bit of a lead. Good, some good momentum, but remember, they'll have about 54 tickets left to work with here before they have dropped out and actually knocked out the entire tournament after working so hard for the past couple of weeks. And it looks like they will be able to control the buildings. They still have enough cover left to actually contest towards that B flag, which is why they still have good control of it. But Epsilon, they're trying to hit for the backside of A. They're trying to hit C at the same time. They're trying to go for like a little bit of a two-pronged attack, but C will be closed. And it won't actually be able for business anytime soon, as InFamouS are going to be able to maintain that. But look at this. 2 men up for InFamouS, 3 up for Epsilon, and a lot of flags are being challenged right now.
Yeah, and it was a really good switcheroo there coming out from the InFamouS side. They lost out on the sides they had, but they regained the ones they seem to like working with. So They just... okay, I see the issue here. They were too far out on C. They left B very open. And it's not going to take much for a couple of these players to go, okay, B's open, let me get myself over here. Horik being one of them, and David being the other. Hence giving Epsilon the switch around of a 2-to-1 hold here. And let's bear in mind, you know, InFamouS cannot drop that low, as we keep telling ourselves. If they drop below 80 tickets, they are done and dusted and out of this, and that's the biggest problem. Any extended 2-to-1, trip cap, anything that Epsilon get towards that effect could literally be their downfall in a moment.
Well, let's see. You can see the kills 26-20, so a little bit of a lead here for InFamouS. And it looks like they will lose control of A here in just a few seconds, though. They still have a couple of men. They actually have 2 men there. Didn't even notice that. It will be Ashes being taken down. It's a 2-on-2 now. As you see the man fighting out from the crates. He actually will finally get taken down, but it will be a 1 there. Now it's 1 man versus 1 man. And I believe the winner of that one will be Epsilon, even getting some revives in there. So C and A now held on to. The people at C actually pushing down towards B a little bit, pick up some kills, and they're getting 1 ticket by ticket closer to getting into the next round.
But InFamouS, they're still trying. They're sending out Heist on his own, good work there, but they now need to be able to set up some support over here, some cover, and also then maintain on this B site. They must get a setup rather than this, you know, flash in the pan moment, which is what they've been getting so far. Really not ideal stuff, but they finally get the 2-to-1, but can they maintain? I think so far the answer is no, with 2 kills coming in against them. But they're going to go for the trip cap, maybe look for a setup on B and A, but they're being outnumbered everywhere here. It's not looking pretty.
It's not, but it's effective. I mean, I think Epsilon, they realize we have 86 tickets to work with. This isn't a big deal. We take our time, pick up some kills. Every kill they get that they can guarantee gets them 1 step closer. And right now they're getting C, they're getting B at the same time, so they're going to have a 2 hold here. But how long can they keep it, and how long will InFamouS let this one slip away? As we're going to see Apricot actually taking down their Heist, coming up from the side, spots the man out, but it's actually David, and he will get the kill. It's just Asterisk, sorry. But still, Epsilon just keeps spawning men in towards the C5. They're constantly forcing them to send more and more there. And you can see 98 tickets now left to go, and they will get tri-capped.
I think this is a nail in the coffin for InFamouS. I think they let it slip a little too far here, and even if they walk away with 1 and then not even that close to Duke, he can just cover himself off a little better. He could have survived even longer, but the trip cap will be given, and these tickets are just going to fall away from them so damn fast, and it fell apart piece by piece for these guys, and it's a real shame. They had so much potential, but I don't feel we've seen it here today.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so. But they can be proud, though, considering they've gotten into the offline playoffs within their first try, you know, in the ESL 1 series for Battlefield. And honestly, that will be the final nail right there. As the final ticket does drop down, that will be Epsilon advancing to play against Planet Key Dynamics yet again in a rematch. And that game is going to be intense. I don't know who's going to be able to pick that one up here, but Epsilon finally getting a little bit of a taste of victory. And I think this is something they definitely needed for the morale of the team.
Yeah, it looks like job done to me is happening right there. And it wasn't easy on the first map, let's bear in mind. They struggled there. Second map, I feel that InFamouS Neuron gave them the advantage that they had at times. It was not clever, it was not smart play. InFamouS don't look too upset by this. They've certainly proven they can play at these events. You know, it's nice to see a good bit of kind of, not friendship, but, you know, it's this kind of nice attitude that these teams have. They all know each other very well. And, you know, being able to take, you know, a team who was in first position down to, what was it, 3 tickets on a first map like that after such a defining lead, that's something to be proud of, but there's certainly a lot of work to be done for InFamouS coming off the back of this.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously they have Season 3, you know, to really kind of hammer things home. It's not obviously over now. They have more, obviously, to play. There's also Go-Fors every weekend, which I believe they do participate in. There's all of other tournaments happening at the same time, but, you know, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them getting this far, but I'm more proud of Epsilon from bouncing back because
they needed it.
Yeah, they really did. They looked very grim for them with the problems they were having. But, you know, Marsu, again, I keep pointing him out. I'm sorry for, you know, mentioning his name so many times, but he is playing like a star for them. He really is. I mean, yeah, we talk about Duke getting the big kills, but Marsu is always putting up good numbers. He's always defending flags.
Yeah, and the reason I point out Duke is because everyone puts it to other factors why he's doing so well. Oh, it's his ping, it's this, it's that.
True.
He turned up here on an even playing field, and he did just as well in those games. So I think that should be a moment for a couple of other of his doubters, let's say, to go, well, actually, okay, fair enough to the guy. He played very well. And some of his individual performances basically gave them moments that gave them the ticket advantage that they had. And they needed that. They really did. And this may be a slightly sour kind of boost to them. You know, it's not completely beautiful. A 3-ticket win on one half and then a very close game to finish it out with, not on the second map, but the first. Not ideal, but they needed that win. I think that's the biggest point here. You know, Fnatic have had this beautiful, you know, calm sea to sail on of other teams beneath them when they've just played to their full potential. But Epsilon didn't have a great start, and they have struggled to find their form again. Hopefully that final map has really put them back on that pedestal. They needed that final map. If it had ended with Zavod and another that was just as close, I'd have said, this is over. But it being a nice, good start, a good half score, I think that's a great way for them to build off confidence off the back of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, guess that's it from us here as we're going to head over to Redeye, who has an interview with Reaper, their manager. I'm actually curious to see what he has to say about that one.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, with Reaper. It's all right. I'm okay. I'm calm this time. Yeah, just smiles this time. So you and I spoke a little bit last time in the season 1, and you guys had a rough tournament. Things just didn't go right for you. You had a couple of server crashes, and they really affected you. And you come here again, and game 1, same thing happens, and you guys fall to pieces. What is it about you guys? I mean, our commentary team said you guys are mentally fragile. Is that the case?
Yeah, of course. We are completely collapsed mentally. Because we have started a game with clear card and started over, rethink, clear our mind, start again, refocus, and then server crash happens again. And when we are leading, when we are in roll, when we are in heat, and the server crash again in the next match. So full respect for InFamouS, because they are fully fair access, and big respect for all of my players, because.
We're just showing the last moments of the game, and you can see the relief on your guys' face.
Yeah, because big respect my players, because they are played very well. They are started over. They made it. So we are focusing. Go on. We started over. Go everything. We hope there is no cyber crash again, and we are looking forward.
Okay, so let's talk about the match that you've just come through. The first map, again. Guys, what are you doing to us? You know, all the Epsilon fans are like, yeah, look at that, 80 tickets against 5, no problem. 60 tickets against 40, 30 tickets, 20 tickets, 10 tickets, 3 tickets left. How does that happen?
I don't know. We thought we have won already, and 64, I guess. And then we just cruising and rushing all over the middle with no flags, and we drop down. As you said, it's 50, 40, 30, 22, and it's 3 more. And the second round is so close too, because it's 9 tickets, as I remember. So it was a hard map. This was the problem. I think the crash. The crash made this collapse. We are not so 100% in accuracy, but in this time we was the lucky ones.
Okay, well, you've got a chance now because that's it for today in Group A. You come back tomorrow now and play Planet Key Dynamics. You've got the extra game, of course, before you reach the semi-final. You don't have to play Fnatic in the semi-final. At least that's something you can look forward to, I guess. But just to get to the semi-final is still going to be tough, right?
Yes, we wanted to play with the Fnatic because in the last months we faced all of the finals of the Go for BF series. They won 3 times, we won once at once. So we wanted to play. We are unlucky, so maybe we can face again with the final if they reach the final too, because this is the one place where we can find against. Yeah, PKD. We are in heat as we spoke about it in the last time. We have more than 80 tickets. We going to have a triple cap. And then server crash, we have to restart it. We drop more than 40 tickets. That's why we have lost with 1. We are looking forward. I think every team who is here is the top 8. So it's no question. But I think if we can make some and find some energy from this match, we can beat PKD and go forward to the best 4. Yes, best 4.
Okay. What do you have to do as a team, and as a team manager for that matter? What do you have to do to try and get over this mental problem of coping with crashes? Because it could happen again tomorrow, and then what do you do? You know, do you guys fall apart? You're not going to get another chance.
If it's happened again tomorrow, I definitely quit the game. So, there's no question. It's hard to say because everybody is frustrated, very angry. You have to find the words, just small words, small sentences, small sorts to remotivate my guys. Big help of mine is this David, because David is the team captain, my capo, as we mentioned his name in the stream. So I don't know, it's hard. I don't even know. It's just, guys, focus, reconcentrate. We can made it. We made it online. We have to made it, and it's offline event. So.
Okay, final question. It revolves around being online. You've had 3 fabulous cup wins in ESL 1 this season and a grand final, so 4 cups in a row, reach the final every time. Then you come to LAN and it falls apart. People are starting to question Epsilon. Are they onliners? Can they do it on LAN?
Yes, but the other people who said this don't have problems like this, some issues, what we have in it. So we as you said, we won all of the cups. We were always in the finals. We will have good chances when we arrived here. But in the first match, first side, we have a crash. And then everything is collapsed, everything is demolished. So it is hard, it is hard. We have to fight 2 times better than anybody else here, I think.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you tomorrow and congratulations today. I'm going to leave you there for now. And go and join David, who's waiting for me. We've got David from DICE. As I said earlier, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
What do you make of this esports stuff? It's pretty cool, right?
It is. I really like it. I like esports. I've been following esports from a bunch of different games for a long while now.
You're an old Quake player as well.
I was, yeah.
A bit of Quake?
In my younger years. Was a while ago now, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to talk about CTE.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine we've not spoken before and I know nothing about it. What is it? Explain it to our viewers.
So basically, it's a way for us to set up a full environment where we can test everything we want and even stuff that we might not want, just to see if it flies. And we can make sure that it not only works for us and our QA department, it also works for the players. It's not, the most... we don't put out the most broken weapon according to the community. We think it's nice and fine, but community hates it for some reason, right?
Right.
And right now we're shifting into listening more to the community than ever before, and it's a way for us to be able to do that and quickly push releases. So several a week we've done right now. It's going to go up and down, obviously, but it's changing the way we work because we can get direct feedback and we can go at it way earlier. We don't have to have a polish.
Okay. And I suppose the question from people watching will be, okay, that's all well and good, and that sounds really cool, and that's nice of DICE, but how does that affect my game? When does it come into my game?
So, of course, there will be a delay before it's actually released. We need to go through the normal certing procedures. The big difference for our sake is that we feel safe about the release. We know we won't be making the game worse. Stability won't go down. That's a key issue. Obviously, we've seen the server go down here a couple of times, and it breaks my heart every time that happens.
Me too.
Yeah, so, and we need to make sure that we don't go worse, right? We need to improve all the time. So this just makes our changes safer.
Okay. I know that you've already talked to a lot of the pros here and a lot of the esports teams, and I know that you want their help, but how do people get involved with this? How do they participate and make sure they get their say?
Sign up, right? That's step 1. You need to be a premium member currently. That might change in the future, but currently you need to be premium. You sign up, go to the cte.battlelog.com to sign up. There's a lot of slots. I think there's 2,000 slots right now, or 20,000 slots, sorry.
Okay, that's good.
Should be enough. Once you're in, it's basically a new game in your Origin client. You have to download it, install it. It takes a while. It's pretty big. It's basically a copy of the game, but in a different version. And then you start living on the forums, hopefully. Read the forums, try out our tests that we're asking for. We're testing different things, especially with the netcode fixes. There's a lot of placebo effects. When you release a patch, players are like, whoa, this is great. It's so much better, and we didn't change anything. And we kind of do tests like that too, just to make sure that we're sane and we're not seeing...
Damn you, DICE, tricking us with the placebo effect. It's funny you should say that, because I've had that myself. You patches and you go, this feels different. I feel like I'm hitting everything, all of it. And then I read the patch and I'm like, wait, they didn't change anything. No. I'm being fooled here. Why?
But it could also be, we see issues where the servers degrade over time, and that's something that is my highest focus right now, because it's obviously affecting gameplay. So a server runs for a longer time, it just starts affecting gameplay. And obviously a live server we restart them daily and so on. But this is something that we need to fix.
Sure. So are you able to tell us anything that has been worked on recently, and maybe you've sort of looked at, and maybe it's been a suggestion and you've put it in and gone, nah, that's horrible, it doesn't work, or something that actually you thought wouldn't work has worked?
Yeah, so the first patch was the whole netcode change, which obviously changes the game a lot. And after that, we started seeing what we want to see, which is gameplay fixes. People were like, cool, now I can care about the other stuff, right?
Now I can
this
have
weapon.
elephants.
Maybe. Maybe. No, but one thing we did immediately was the camera shake when you get hit by explosives, which just seemed to be working really well. We tweaked it once, we put it out there, people are fine with it, hopefully. I'm not lying now, but...
we'll get questions. Like they'll be tweeting at me in a minute saying, hey, that's not true or something. But we've asked them for questions, so they've started to come in. We'll ask you those tomorrow. Just finally on it, how important is it for you guys as developers to be able to get this critical feedback? Because these guys they're mean. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. They are the meanest bunch of gamers ever. And I think you guys like that.
We kind of do, right? Because we need to make a game that works for everyone. And they're the top 1%, sure. They're not, everyone. But I want them to have a game where they feel that they're in control, that feels fair in a firefight, right? And that's where I think we could be lacking a little bit at times. So I want their feedback, and I want it as quickly as possible.
Okay, well, you heard the man. Just remind us of the URL again, CTE?
CTE.padlog.com.
Okay, thank you very much, David.
All you need to know.
And go and sign up. Go and get yourself signed up if you're a premium member right now. There are 20,000 slots available, so go and help the guys at DICE make the game that you want to play. It's very important to them that you get your feedback in there. Thank you to David for now. We're going to catch up with David again tomorrow. He's also going to be talking to us about Dragon's Teeth a little bit as well, just as a little teaser. And if you've got any questions as well, send them to me on Twitter. Use the hashtag #ESL1, and we'll put the best questions to David. Put him under the spotlight. Give him a bit of a hard time. We'll do that tomorrow. Quick break now. We've done Group A. Group A is now officially finished for today, but tomorrow the two teams that are left will be back to battle it out for the final place in the semi-finals. We'll move on to Group B, and boy, it's a good one.